I've just finished repairing one of these Thorn decks. As you can see, I've got my soldering iron out and I've replaced the little capacitors in them. I don't know where they all are. Oh, lots of them are there. Anyway, this is the mono version of one of these Thorn made decks. This is a quite nice one. It's a Marconiphone. It's got this nice sort of leatherette. Unfortunately, something's been stored on it for years, so it's got a dent in it. But otherwise, it's pretty clean. I've not got a spare magic eye. The magic eye is completely worn out. Yet the heads seem fine. So I don't know whether somebody left it on and forgot about it. Replaced some of the capacitors, well, nearly all of them, because they're these horrible Hunt's capacitors, which are generally no good. Get to focus, there we are. And those Plessy ones, which are the ones that generally just crack in half, the red and black plastic things. So the main electrolytic capacitor is fine, there's no humming on the audio or anything. This one, it has a nice little door on the back. I've got two others of these machines. This really being the most basic one, but it's in the sort of fancier cabinet. I've got two 4-track ones. You can see here there's a blanking plate where the 4-track would have the two buttons for each of the tracks on the first side, and the other two are also I've got a fast and slow speed, whereas this is a fixed 3 3/4 inches per second. The other two are 1 7/8 and 3 3/4 inches per second. Only takes the these 5.5 inch spools. Won't take a 7-inch spool. I love these decks. They're very easy to work on. The only belt that needed changing was the one for the counter, which I've now changed. Everything is performed by idlers, so there's basically one belt for the friction clutch for the take-up spool. Everything else is done via idlers, and then you've got another belt for the counter. So there's only two belts, one being for the counter. The rest is all done by idlers. The rubber always is good in these machines. I've never come across one where the rubber has been bad. They have a nice wide pinch roller, which I can probably show you there, perhaps. Yes, there we go. There's a pinch roller. Get to focus. There we go. It's a nice wide pinch roller. Just a two-head machine, very simple, but they work so well. This one actually came with the proper little lead, so I can plug it into this Bush radio. So if I turn the radio on, this would have been basically how this may have been used many years ago originally. So the magic eye is obviously dim, so I'll put the level roughly there. You can hear a bit of a noise coming from the speaker. As I say, the magic eye doesn't work, but I sort of guess roughly. It doesn't sound distorted. So we'll try that. The main issue with these machines is the fast forward and the rewind doesn't work. The hubs move in to the various idlers, and the grease on the hubs goes hard and stops the hubs from moving left and right, moving in to hit the idlers. So the machine's either stuck in rewind or won't go into rewind or fast forward at all. But once you lubricate them and get the hard grease out, they're fine. Bizarrely, this one didn't have this trouble. Turn the volume down a bit.
Next question, that deal fell through, but there will be lots of suitors in the summer, particularly with, as it stands, its contract running out in the summer of 2020. Performances like that, it's going to make it even harder for them to keep hold of it. People are going to be watching this and taking note.
That was basically the recording off
That was what we wanted to see, wasn't it?
the radio. So the recording works. I'll play a pre-recorded tape back to give a better idea. These are fairly noisy running. They're not too bad, but they are a bit noisy with their motor. It's because of the idlers inside. this was probably one of the better, or one of the best budget brand tape recorders from this period. This particular deck. I like this deck so much because it just doesn't have many problems with it. You know, the drive belts and the rubber never goes hard or anything. So the 2-speed machine has a pre and de-emphasis control on the switch, which is nice. I think on the other one you've got an electromagnet, a solenoid to stop the tape going when you have foil on the leaders on the more upmarket model. But the basic deck is just sort of ultra reliable, really. There's your tone control and volume. So that's fast forward working fine. It's not the fastest, but it is running at its at full speed. I think these machines were very competitively priced and very reliable. These weren't a bad choice back in the day. It was these or a Grundig, really. The Grundig machines had a lot of especially the smaller Grundig machines, didn't offer much more than this machine actually offers. The difference being with the Grundig machines really was the price. They were just a bit more expensive. You were buying a brand name, I suppose, but Ferguson sold these under Ferguson Marconiphone, and I think HMV, they were under the HMV brand as well. Yeah, these pre-recorded tapes, these mono ones this machine is ideal for. So what it needs is a magic eye, but to be honest, I've got 2 other machines of this. So they're the ones with the speed. So I shan't really bother. The point of the fact is it does play back. I'd rarely use these machines for recording. I've got about just under 150 of these mono tapes, and that's mainly what I use these tape recorders for. It's nice to have them recording and everything, but as I say, I've got 2 others of these, and I've got many more tape recorders, so I probably won't fork out the expense for the magic eye. I'll just leave a note inside reminding myself that it needs a magic eye, and it'll go in the collection, because I don't actually have the mono version. So this is the reason I'll keep this, is because it's a mono version of the machine. And of course, if you play back these mono tapes on a mono machine, you get all of the use of the information recorded on the tape. On a 4-track machine, you're only getting a slither of the information recorded. So the mono versions of these machines are very good for playing back these pre-recorded tapes.